Hello there, fantastic internet, and you adorable creatures of the beyond. It was such a pain to do all of the preparations for the armor and whatnot. And I'm not yet sure about the weapon either. I feel like this weapon is kind of missing a bit, and it's a bit underperforming with durability as well. So I feel like this one is somewhat more balanced. Sure, the critical bonus is consistently different, but whatever. We'll see about that. Now, this took a long time. It takes about 30 minutes to get the super steel plates. I had 3. One was already collected, 2 I made with 6,000 carons. Now, one I have infused on this beautiful cave hopper that went up to the quality 134. Initially it was 60 something. And this one I found, right here is SGS. If you go all the way south, there is here a cave with cave hoppers, and there is the, what's it called? The cave hopper cemetery. And I remember this because we stumbled upon it, and then the dude also told us that hey, there is a cave hopper cemetery. And when I got there, initially I wanted to hunt cave hoppers, but I thought, yeah, maybe there are some cave hoppers there that are higher quality, and they weren't. The most I could get is 21 quality. But then I went into the cemetery and I realized there were 2 corpses that you can interact with, but you cannot. I mean, there is no visual cue, no text above them, so you have to click on them specifically. And on one of them, there was this beautiful cave hopper leather. So I took that, I infused it, and the infusion went through the roof. Now, how do you infuse a cave hopper leather? Well, first of all, you take the beautiful super steel plates. After 30 minutes, it's between 20 and 30 minutes from Bernard, and you go outside of the foundry, and on the right side there is that woman that sells all sorts of metals, and in front of her there is a chest, and she will tell you, put this super steel plate in the chest, and then we pay her 100 carons, and she does whatever you need. Either she makes it into sheets of super steel, or she transforms it into this super steel fiber. Wait, and then she also sells you the recipe, the blueprint, to infuse it. And to infuse it, you have to go into G, crafting, and go to leather armor. No, it's not leather armor, it's infused leather, sorry. I'm gonna take this 21 quality with this, and it's gonna be 127, which is considerably smaller than 134, but still. Voila. Now we have 2 of them. Quite good. Now, what we will want to do, this one is not necessarily required, though mechanics and electronics might help. I'm not entirely sure. It might. Let's do a hardcore save here, because it's gonna be a painful experience. Now I've kind of stretched this to the limit, but hopefully it's enough. So clearly you have to be inside the room to get all of the bonuses, otherwise you're gonna not have enough. But let's start with the leather armor. So for the leather armor, I'm gonna use the higher one, so 134. I'm gonna use this black cloth, and we're gonna apply this soft padding, 142, 101. Soft padding gives us mechanical resistance 23% and we only get armor penalty 5%. Whereas this one gives us mechanical 27, mechanical damage resistance and threshold increased by 35% against melee attacks, but we get armor penalty 10%. Again, we have nimble, so let's not forget about that. So our armor penalty might go up, but nimble will reduce that. And then you have stealth increased by 41%, which is really nice. With the other one, you would get increased by 61%, which is also nice, but you don't need that much stealth. So I'm thinking of doing it like this. Now, we realize that we need 144 tailoring for that. So in order to satisfy that, because we have right now 142, so I need just 2 more. So in order to satisfy that, I brought an underpie that gives us free to all skills for 20 minutes anyway. So now if I go here, let's select the correct armor. This, and this. We have 144 craft. Super duper. And now we want to craft some boots. And for the boots we're gonna need 2 soul, whatever. Then we're gonna decide here. We're gonna need this. Then we need a padding, and here's the part where I'm quite interested. We can add something like this, the super steel of quality 156, and the padding 101, 142. Can be something like this. So this gives us heat, energy, blah blah blah, armor penalty 8%. It's a lot. But we keep the agility, and this one also comes with agility. Stealth increased by 8, cooldown sprint decreased by 3. We don't use sprint. But what if we use this? And we get armor penalty 1%, agility like this. We did lose some stealth, but we compensated with this. And then cooldown of sprint increased by 3%. We don't use that, but we have movement points by 34, which can help us with blitz. And movement speed, but while not stealth, unfortunately. Still better than nothing. Or we could try another padding, like so. No, not that one. It's only this one, okay. So we have the soft padding, then you have the high density padding, which gives 3%, but then it increases this by 76, and mechanic by, I don't know. I think like this one is much better. Sure, we get mechanical only 4%, but armor penalty 1. So I'm gonna go with this. Create. There we go. Very beautiful thing. Although it's kind of difficult to see the difference between these two. And I also have crafted efficiency low frequency shield emitter, which has a secondary high frequency modulator. Now this is kind of hard to explain, but where is it? Here. So you have quite a few things. First you need an energy core, then the base, clearly. And then you have some optional things here. These are the modules. So the modules can be, for example, you can go low frequency, yeah? So you put here a module for low frequency, and then here you add another module, exactly like in the first one, but it can be minimum, medium, or high. Low, medium, or high. And I have chose high because we kind of gave the best things. And then I have went with the what's it called? Shoot. Frequency energy shield, augmented secondary high module, and high efficiency. So here I have applied efficiency. There is because efficiency increases your capacity, and that is the most important thing. You need your capacity to be on the highest because that's how much damage it can sustain. Well, that's how long the shield can last before it goes out. You know. I think that's kind of the only metric you should go about. Sure, there are other bonuses to conversion rate and dissipation rate and so on and so forth, but the shielding should have kind of stabilized stats on the very low up to the very high, and this one felt quite okay for the efficiency low. And then we have an efficiency medium, not a high, and I went with a medium because towards the end of the game we won't be shooting so much, and sure, there will be some situations where there will be enemies with lasers and so on and bigger guns, but mostly we're gonna be okay. And medium is kind of it's good on all. It's actually a bit better than this one in some regard, but I'm gonna keep to the low efficiency, and if I see that that's not efficient enough, I'm gonna go to the medium one in certain situations. It should be okay. Shields have bonuses, like the low one is very good against melee, medium good against almost everything, and the high is good against mostly shots. And we shall see. We shall see. And obviously, even the lowest one doesn't stop all the melee damage, but partially does stop some of them. Okay, so we're gonna remove this clothing from us. Do we look a little bit different? No. We're gonna put this on us. And now we should have a bit of a super, and this one doesn't have a super in it. I don't know. I'm gonna keep them both on me for now, till I get a better feeling of how it goes. Now, for the rest, I don't know. I think we're pretty much prepared to do some crazy damage. I'm running low on the bolts, and I was too tired to even bother to make more. But I think we should do enough damage. Anyway, so we have 42 of the juice, which is fantastic. We will need probably even more. Let's see if Dude has reset it. Can I buy more? Yes, I can. Thank you. And I'm gonna go to the entrance. I'm just gonna place things in there and sort it way later. It's not important at the moment. I didn't put this into our collection, but probably I will later on. So for now we have 10 and 1, that's 11. And everything, well, dodge, but we don't care about dodge because we're having evasion. So we should be in good parameters with everything. How heavy is this one? Actually, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna place some of this back in here. I don't know, the cryo, not really worth it. I'm gonna... Well, it's starting. I'm starting to use these batteries because this one consumes quite a lot to recharge. And... I don't know. I don't think we need this one either. This we have plenty. I think we're pretty stable. I should probably make some plasma grenades, but I'm so lazy. I'm so lazy. I'm tired of crafting. Crafting takes a lot of effort in this game. If you're not prepared and if you don't have everything, you have to do a lot of buying, a lot of walking, and blah 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 blah. Also, I realize in the expedition I forgot to tell what was his name? The guy in the tent with stone, Marky, about the mines, and this one didn't complete. It will probably say it's failed, but whatever. I don't care. Find the mysterious cube, infiltrate the torch. That's our new objective. And foundry is complete, Black Sea is complete, the compound is complete, Nimble Crew is complete. What else did I not click? Horse City is complete, Waterway is complete, Gunslinger complete, Dark Territory complete. There we go. So, let's go to the top. Do I have a... Yeah. So we will go to the university. Oh, and you remember that dude said that he didn't want that box with the acorn because of ninjas? Well, yeah, there you go. The guy that came after us, the dragon guy from Hexagon, he was a ninja. Good, 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 good. Really nice cafe though. So, let's do this. Save. Join the chart. The torch, guys. I mean, we can try to join the others, but I'm gonna give you a tiny little spoiler. If you join the Protectorate, it's not a bad decision, but they will make you kill Gorski, which is not very great. If you join the free drones are kind of mental and they don't want anybody unified, so they will murder anyone that tries to do that. So they will make you do some very naughty stuff against the Protectorate, which again I don't fully agree with, because yeah, they're quite chaotic and mental, and they say it's like, oh, it's for the good of the stations. Really? Really? We'll get to that at the end of the game when we make a review of the entire campaign and the lore and everything like that. While the Torch are not bad, they also have their messed up things, but not as bad. And again, the Protectorate isn't a bad thing, it's just that it kind of rubs you the wrong way if you push too many buttons. They push too many buttons to make you do some very questionable things. I think it's more like genocide. But that also, it's also one of the ways you can become a mutant in the game. Indirectly, but whatever. So, Denzil. Freightor Denzil. The man seems somewhat uneasy as you come near him. Even though you are unable to see his face, what you are able to notice is how his body language expresses his apprehension. He is unable to stand completely still. He either taps his foot or crosses, and uncrosses his arms or nervously looks all around him. When when you near him, you notice the symbol on his uniform, a circular eye with two tentacles spouting from him, similar to the symbol on the large doors behind him. Yeah, tentacles. Nice, nice, nice. And an eye in the middle. The large door behind him. Soon he speaks with a voice that sounds tense and hasty in one moment and cold in another. What is it? Who are you? Are you one of the torchists? I'm a Ferion Dezu. Yes, and yes, I am. I'm a torchist. In case you haven't noticed, you are standing at the entrance of the Institute of Torch. And all these robed guards, Rasphors, Rasophors, are its members as well. We are here to preserve safety of the Institute, so be very careful of your actions during the time here. Yeah, you got your answer. Now leave me alone. Can you tell me more about the torches and the Institute of Torch? He sighs. No, I don't have time for this. I'm busy. Not even a few words. Come on, I'm not asking you to give me a full history of the organization. If you insist, he sighs. The Institute of Torch is an institution centered around Torch, a magnificent creature whose sole existence is a source of unimaginable knowledge, and is an inspiration to us all Torchists. Because he's so depressed and doesn't want to talk about it, he's just like, leave me alone. Ever since our founder, Aiden, first studied Torch genome, he discovered the potential to improve mankind, to direct human evolution towards new heights. Torch is evolution, evolution is Torch, one cannot go without the other. And now, since you got a brief summary, you're going to leave me alone. I have important works to do. I like to become a member of your organization. I'm sorry, but we can't accept new members. At this particular time, we are full, so to say. As you can see, if you were to look around you, all these people here are waiting to join the Institute. But alas, as I've already mentioned, we cannot accept new members. Still, that doesn't stop you from waiting, which is to be respected. Torch might reward their wait, but not at this time, unfortunately. I don't think you understand. I really want to become a Torch. What is the matter with you? Are your ears vestigial? Like, you're not using them. Is it? It's like you can't hear me properly. We do not accept new members. Now buzz off. Buzz off? Is that your answer? I'm disappointed. I never even suspected that a representative of such a grand and enchanting organization such as the Institute of Torch would say something so foul to me. I was willing to dedicate the rest of my day to torchism and to happily spend those very days surrounded by men and women, brothers and sisters, who are above all low life and inhabiting the rest of the Underrail. Magnificent Torch. You must be some inbreed bastard who lost the ability to understand human language several generations ago. He makes a short pause to allow some steam to come out and prevent him from exploding. Look here. You don't want to be disturbing an Efferator. I can order these guys here to call you instantly and they wouldn't even flinch. Order them anything you want, but I'm standing my ground here. I want to join the Institute and I'm willing to do everything to achieve the goal. Something tells you that despite him look just angry on the outside, on the inside he's probably turning into a ball of plasma. Reaching temperature high enough to ignite nuclear fusion. Suddenly he cools down and his tone of voice becomes calmer, losing the red-hot edge. Anything you say, anything you say. Interesting. There is, well, an issue we could use some help with. Finally, we're getting somewhere. Okay, do tell. We have An issue with a missing figurine, a very important metal figurine. It was stolen from us and we need it back. Now, we aren't precisely sure who did it, but we suspect those devolved lunatic inbred to be behind the theft. They taint everything they touch with their filthy hands. The metal figurine depicts a man reaching for the surface. He points up. Up there. If you can find it, we might make a deal about you joining us, brother. We already recovered it. Okay, is this the figurine you're looking for? His voice reveals instant excitement as soon as he is presented with the figurine. Wait, you had it on you the whole time? Why didn't you tell me about it? I didn't know you were looking for it. He smiles. Yes, that's the figurine, alright. Where did you find it? In a big shopping mall west of here. You are right, all along. The lunatics were the ones responsible for the theft. Unexpectedly, Daisel falls silent. He looks like he wants to say something, but perhaps can't find the right words. Intelligence. Hold on. I know what you're thinking. You never thought I would be able to find and bring it the damn figurine. You just wanted me to leave you alone. Yes and no, mostly yes. Look, I don't owe you an explanation. Listen, he sighs. You did us a great favor. That is undeniable. It's just that I didn't really expect you to be able to accomplish the given task. That is all. I'm just astonished by the figurine that for your... Sorry. But you figured that for yourself as far as I can see. I hope our deal still stands. You will not get the figurine otherwise. He says, a deal is a deal. Hand me the figurine and then I'll go inside and discuss your request with the superior. It stays with me until you come back. You go talk to your superiors first, then you'll see the figurine again. The guys around you turn towards you and you feel the atmosphere beginning to heat up again. Denzel surprisingly cools it back down with a single hand gesture to his subordinates. I suppose that is acceptable, but don't leave the courtyard. I'll return soon. Just as soon as he goes to leave, he turns back to you again. Wait a moment. I never caught your name. Eros. Eros. Alright, Eros. Wait in front of the institute here. I'll be back as soon as I talk to someone. Just be patient. Torches guides. Wait for him to return. You wait, and some time passes. You begin to wonder if Denzil is actually going to come back. After all, he couldn't wait to get rid of you the first time you talked. But then you remember that the strange metal figurine is still in your hands. The one Torches wants so badly. You begin thinking about this strange piece of metal, about what awaits you ahead. However, your thoughts are soon interrupted by footsteps following a hurried rhythm you have already heard before. It is Denzil. Eros, I have talked to, he catches his breath, to the mediant and explained the situation to him. Therefore, the official word is as following. You will be allowed to enter the institute building, be interviewed, and if deemed fit, you will be offered Institute Torch membership. All that in exchange for the figurine you possess. Speaking of which, I would like to take it now. Then I'll lead you inside. Okay, I'm ready. Take it. Epherion Dazzle slowly picks up the figurine and scrutinizes it. Despite the fact that its face is covered with a mark, you are uncertain that a pleased grin lurks beneath it. His admiration doesn't last for long, though. He looks at you and he signals you to follow him. Well, let us advance. Ooh la la! Look at this beautiful institute. Follow me. Okay. Get inside and prepare to prepare. Whatever. What? The preapostor will be with you shorter, in short time. Okay, let's do a hardcore save. And now here starts the interesting part. You can mess this part out actually. The room you are in made you claustrophobic and uneasy from the start. Not necessarily by the fact that the room is indeed small, but by how small your room of options becomes should something unwelcome occur. You had prepared yourself for the worst, knowing that you will be in an unfamiliar place where anything possible can go awry. Well, seeing the beautiful woman dressed in a black robe, which almost inappropriately flows over her feminine features, ooh la la, accenting them enough even for the blind to see, was most certainly not what you were expecting. The deathly robe envelops her resting face like black oil being spilled over a shiny lump of gold. Whoa. Her striking olive vine-colored eyes immediately meet yours. Her smooth face, free of imperfections, seems like it has been crafted out of a marble by several of the finest artists in existence working together. Her golden hair, mostly concealed by the sinister hood, still manages to gently flow out of it and present its luxuriance. Her voice is much akin to her appearance. It too has a distinct seductive charm. It resonates with appeal and warmth, and while being mostly level, it never becomes monotone nor boring. Torch's evolution. I would like to welcome you to the Institute of Torch, postulant. My name is Amelia, and I am the Institute whatever. Your name is Eros, if I am not mistaken. That is correct. It's a pleasure to meet you. She gives you a soft smile. The pleasure is mutual, Eros. Despite the current situation, you have somehow managed to find yourself before me. The Efferitor was very convincing when he spoke to the rest of us about your deeds. Know that we are making an exception for you, just for you, for I am sure the Efferitor told you our institution is not accepting new members. Now, I'd like to ask you several preliminary questions, general in nature, before we advance this interview. So, you are interested in joining the Institute of Torch and becoming a Torchist, is that correct? So here is where you can mess it up. If you answer incorrectly, you can get kicked out. So we can say, yeah, we've been waiting for our life to be part of it. Since we heard about you, that is correct. I would be delighted to join your organization if you'd be willing to accept me. Let's go with the third option. Tell me something of yourself, Eros. Where are you from? Southgate Station. Or we can go, I don't live in a single place. I roam the South Underrail and sleep wherever I find a comfortable place. That sounds kind of true. No? Yes? Let's just go with Southgate Station. Or let's try 6. Can you tell me what guides you through life? What motivates you? Try to give me a convincing answer. My unquenching thirst for knowledge guides me through life. I live to know more, and knowing more allows me to live on. I surrender myself to life and let it lead me. I am a man of the moment. Not good. I have dedicated my life to protecting all that is good and beautiful. I believe one man, whoever he may be in, and from whenever he comes from, can influence the world and change the world for the better. I only care about myself. No. When someone strikes me, I strike back. No. Let's go with the first one. Interesting. And you feel that with that philosophy in mind, joining the Institute of Torch, is that the right decision? I believe so. You believe so? And how much exactly do you know about the Institute of Torch and the general ideology of Torchism? Actually, I know only the bare minimum, but I feel it is enough for me to make a choice. So far, nothing I've witnessed here made me second guess my original decision. I have previously encountered with the torches, and therefore torches I have learned quite a few things, which made me interested in the ultimately come here. I have attended one of the Minister Percival's lecture in Core City and was fascinated of what I've heard during it. That was one of the main reasons I have decided to come here. Third option, best option. Very good, Eros. Minister Percival is one of our finest pro... Okay, and I'm sure his lecture was very insightful. Still, allow me to elaborate our ideology just to make sure you are familiar with, at least for now, its main principles. Afterwards, you will have to make the final choice of joining our institute or not, if you are still willing. The Institute of Torch is an institution dedicated for the study of and celebration of Torch, a primordial being that was discovered in the deep caverns nearby nearly 100 years ago by Aidan. So Aidan is very old, it seems. The founder of the institute as well as Torchism. I think he is around the second Biocorp reformation or whatever. What he had discovered then and there was magnificent. The creature had been undergoing a unique cycle of regeneration. It was completely formless, changing and adapting to the current environment. Since Aidan was and still is the only person that can communicate with Torch, he was able to study it and uncover what secrets it holds with its magnificent genome. Now let's be honest here. After all we have seen, usually if you play it the first time, it might sound kind of like, come on, that's not true. He can't be 100 years. It's like, he's the only one who saw Torch and everybody has to believe him now. And it really sounds wacky and like a cult, but the more we find out, the more we realize it's very, very true. Everything they say. This game is very frank with you from the beginning, very sincere. He learned that Torch holds the key to evolution in the human race to new heights. One day, perhaps, though, directed evolution, as Aidan originally named it, humankind will hopefully find a way to adapt to a life on the surface and escape this gloomy underworld. Principally, Torch represents two things, the physical being and the knowledge it holds. Consequently, Torchism, being guided by Torch, aims to direct human evolution with its help. In essence, that is what Torchists are and what we stand for. Which brings me to the next question. Tell me, Eros, do you still stand by your previous decision? Do you still wish to become a member of the Institute of Torch? If your answer is positive, then we can finally start the second phase of the interview. I have to say, I've got even more excited about Torchism after what you just told me. I'm more than ready. I haven't changed my mind. We can proceed. Let's go with the first option. She smiles. Very good. I'm pleased to hear that, even though that is the answer I expected from you. Now, allow me to explain what happens next. I'm going to ask you a set of questions, simple questions that require no hard thinking, only honesty. You will answer these questions and any sub-questions that might arise during the process. Don't worry, this won't take long. Now, this is also kind of tricky, but we shall see. Let us begin with the first question. She takes a single piece of paper containing the question, clears her throat and begins. Have you ever been sent here knowingly to injure Torchism? No. I came here to find a mysterious... No, 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 no. She looks at you a bit longer than usual, after which she writes something on a paper. Next question. How do you feel about Torchism? Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was worth my time. I think it makes a lot of sense that it's the path I want to take. I'm gonna go with the second option. Very good. Next question. Do you think there might be anything wrong with having your privacy invaded? Yes, I oppose. Depends on the situation. If it's for the greater good, then no. I don't think it is wrong. Otherwise, I'm not too keen on the concept. Interesting. New questions. Have you ever been a drug addict? No. Next question. No, clearly no. Have you ever killed anyone? Only when it was necessary. Next questions. Are you upset by this questioning? No, why would I be? Next question. Do you hope you won't be found out? I have nothing to hide. That is my answer. She crosses her arm and observes you, occasionally moving her head from left to right and vice versa. Before you get a chance to break the silence, she uncrosses her hands and asks you the next question. Next question. Have you ever smothered a baby? No, what kind of a... what kind of a sick person would do something like that? You'd be surprised what different breeds of people come here. Next question. Have you ever eaten human flesh? Now this is something that I kind of noticed. There is no perk or nothing related to cannibalism in this game. It would have been cool if there was like a faction where you can join and get into cannibalism. Not saying that that should be the main focus, but if you look into other games like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, they have these things, you know, it can give you a bonus or something and it can help you, but it's also very taboo, so if you're getting caught in public, then you're gonna get punished. So kind of the same would have been interesting to see it here, but perhaps they thought that would be a step too far, or they... You know, in a way, the game... We play the game based on its rules, so the game doesn't bend its rules to the player bends itself to the rules. So maybe it wanted to be something very specific, a very finite block that you have to decipher on how to play and with. No. Next question. Would you be willing to sacrifice the lives of several innocent people to save one dear to you? Would you be willing to sacrifice the lives of several innocent people to save one dear to you? Now this one is a tricky one. Yes, I see. Next question. Have you ever felt that there is another creature in your body? No. Next question. I wonder why did she ask that? I can think of a few... Yeah, that is a very deep question, and it must make sense for them, but I can't think of a situation where it would apply from what we have seen so far. Quite difficult. Probably it's related to polymorphs, but it can also be interpreted as a mutation. I don't know. Next question. Did you ever hurt yourself? No. Last questions. Have you ever been a spy for anybody? No. No, we don't talk about the Oculus or the oligarchs. Amelia looks at the paper, inspects all the notes. She looks during the interview. Afterwards, she puts it away and gives you a familiar too long for comfort stare. Luckily, it ends with a pleasant smile. Very good, Eros. Very good. Those were all the questions I had for you. Now, I just like to ask you to give me a sample of your blood and wait patiently for me to return. Okay, I have no objections to that. Amelia puts a strange device. It looks like a large black ornamented syringe with a see-through tube and has a tiny metal tentacle climbing towards the needle, twinkling around the device. She inserts the needle into your flesh. Externally, you feel but a little sting. Internally, you feel your heart pounding faster and faster. Fortunately, the procedure is over quickly. She pulls the needle with a smile, and the syringe is now full of blood. She places a gauze on the wound before stepping away. That is all I need. Please wait for me while I return, Eros. It won't take long. Congratulations, postulant. Or should I say novitiate. You have been selected, therefore you have been granted membership to the Institute of Torch. I suspect you are tired. It was a long and challenging day for you, I'm sure, so I will give you a very brief rundown of what awaits you within the Institute. As for now, you are a novitiate, a new member of the Institute of Torch, whose first task is to familiarize himself with Torchism, obtain necessary knowledge, and find his place within the Institute. We offer many means to do so, but we will get to that later. The next thing I must tell you is about three main divisions of the Institute of Torch: preservation, investigation, and propagation. We will only have to deal with the preservation and investigation, not the propagation. Each of these three divisions have a specific purpose. Preservation exists to protect or preserve Torch, Aiden, and the Institute and all its members, and prides itself with the highly trained and well-equipped individuals. Investigation, on the other hand, concerns itself with obtaining, organizing, and applying knowledge, studying Torch on the world around us with the ultimate goal of directing human evolution towards a better future. Finally, propagation exists to educate or propagate said knowledge both within the Institute of Torch as well as beyond. I hope you're following me so far, Eros. Novitiates are free to select what suits them best. After they have studied enough and made up their mind, they can select anything they like and perform their part within the Institute of Torch. Currently, since propagation is undergoing internal restructuring phase, becoming an acolyte at this stage is highly improbable. So investigation and preservation are the divisions I would direct you for the time being. Of course, if you are really patient and willing, propagation too will open its doors to you at some point, but it's not. A few more principal things before I finally let you go and rest. As a member, you are granted your own bed in the Institute, sleeping quarters, and personal locker for your belongings. Also, your medallion and your robe have already been placed in it. Now, you can find the quarters by going down the right set of stairs. Just after entering the main hall, opposite to that, left from the entrance. It is the refectory. I think you might be more familiar with the term canteen. So, by going down the right set of stairs, just after entering the main hall, opposite to that, left from the entrance. Okay, whatever. The Institute library, Aiden's library, is the second floor on the left. and it is probably the most important place for novitiates. That is where you can read about history, scientific knowledge, work, and most importantly, read the original report. That sounds really important. It describes Aidan's first encounter with Torch, his thoughts and impressions, and documents and beginnings of his research. It is an essential read for every Torchist. Again, Aidan library should be one of your first stops. While we are on the subject of library, I must add this. The old destroyed section of the West Wing has recently been reopened by preservation forces, and an expedition was dispatched there. It is extremely dangerous, and while it is guarded by whatever, I must still warn you to avoid it until it has been sealed again. Is that everything I should know? One more thing, and we are done. Official greeting and manner of address. When first starting a conversation with a member of the Institute of Torch, it is a custom for the first speaker to say Torch's evolution, to which the other party replies evolution is Torch. The meaning of the greeting is clear, I hope. Commonly, you may refer to Torchists as brother or sisters based on their gender, but if you like to hold a higher title, a certain nobility, then you should address them appropriately. This is already too much information for you. In time, you will learn everything. You are free to go and get some rest, brother. If you have more questions, ask me now or find me in my office at the top level. I would be glad to answer all the questions you may have about the Institute of Touch. I have a few questions before you leave. Can you tell me about yourself? I'm interested in some direction. Okay, let's ask about her. I'm serious, but I would rather not speak of myself. The only thing I'm willing to tell you is that I'm institute born and that I have been dedicated torches for the entirety of my life. Oh. Do you have any other questions? Nah, it's okay. Well then, welcome to the Institute of Torch, brother, as Torch guide you. There we go. There we go. Now we can explore. We won't be able to leave. Let's do a hardcore save. But we can talk to this guy. Rasfor Payam. This guy turns to you and silently watches you for a few moments as if expecting you to say something first. Torch's evolution, brother. He raises his hand and just slightly and answers you with a slow, unhurried voice. Evolution is Torch, brother. I am Rasfor Payam and I am in charge of monitoring and security. What can I do for you? Are you in charge of opening the main gate? Yes, that is correct. All arrivals and departures are carefully monitored from this very room, and if you, for instance, wish to leave the building, you'll have to use the intercom there and state the reason for your movement. I need to leave the institute building. What is the reason? Could you just tell me? Couldn't you just let me go without all these questions? Please answer my question, brother. I'm simply following the proper procedure. Nothing important. I just want to go to the courtyard. What for? Just to stretch my legs. I need to meet someone. Well, just to stretch my legs. How long will you be out? I'll be back quickly. Everything you say has been noted. I will open the gate for you now, brother. Torch guide you. Torch guide you too, brother. Let's not do that. we don't want to leave. Oh, shoot. Good thing we saved. We could just reintroduce ourselves. Surveillance, surveillance. Quite awesome. Is this an outside? Yeah. Gotcha. Let me ask you something else. I would like to ask several questions about torchism. I am sorry, but I am very busy at the moment. My recommendation would be to either visit the Aiden library to talk to someone from Propagation or Amelia, for instance. Of course, reading the original report should be your priority if you haven't done so already. Anything else? Do fights or shootouts ever occur between people right outside the main gate? Fights rarely, shootings never. Sometimes a brawl would break out, but mostly between inbreds who aren't worthy of our attention in the first place and had just arrived to cause trouble. Still, when this occur, we usually react quickly and deal with them to the situation. Excluding those, incidents are rare. In the Institute courtyard, visitors feel safe, and that's how we intend them to be. Okay. Have a nice time. Torch guide you, brother. Torch guide you too, brother. Perfect. We won't need to leave for now. And as you can see, we can also talk to him through the intercom. We don't need to go all the way inside. Whew. Now, this is gonna be quite complex. There is a lot to do here, a lot to read, a lot to talk to, a lot of people to talk to, and so on and so forth. So we can go directly into... Maybe we should go up into the library. Now the question was, where was the library? Torches evolution. I think it's not this way. It might be to the east here. Let's see. We can look through the vases and whatnot. But I'm not collecting anything, so whatever. Acolyte, acolyte. Is it this one? Can't even remember. Investigator, minister. Investigator. I think it's not here. Okay, it's definitely not on this side. This is... these are some laboratories. We'll get to that later. Let's see this way. This one leads up the same stairs that are on the other side. This is not the place either. Maybe it is upstairs, up here. Let's see. Have weapons and whatnot. I forgot that the map is quite confusing sometimes. Not here either. This is where Aiden is. We're not gonna be allowed to enter. They will squash them like bugs. They don't like the faceless. What the hell? Maybe it's to the east? To the west? Come on. Ah, it is to the west. But we shouldn't go through here. Or down here at the moment. I mean, no, down here we go to the canteen. Okay. So we can talk to this... to Nina. And we have the library terminal. As we can see, it's quite an advanced institute. It's not a religious one, clearly. The woman, upon noticing you, approaches, puts her hand on her chest and salutes you. Her voice is quiet, almost a whisper, yet it sounds perfectly clear and understandable thanks to the most unreal silence within the library. Torch's evolution. Welcome to Aiden's library, brother. I am Curator Nina. Can I help you with anything? What can you tell me about Aiden's library? Aiden's library is a major repository of information for the Institute of Torch. The library database offers over 6 million pages of textual context regarding from both contemporary historical works in different scientific fields as well as preserved works of literary arts, journals, documents, and others. Most of it is in digital form, accessible to all members at any time. But there is also a significant number of physical copies which, due to their rarity as well as their fragility to the medium, require special permission. It goes without saying that Aiden Library contains a single most important, most monumental document in the history of Torchism, the original report, written by none other than Aiden himself. Being a novitiate, you are advised to start with the original report before moving on to more current torch-related works. What exactly is... Okay, thank you. I had other questions. Can you tell me more about the library history? I can give you a brief information, yes. The room you're currently in was a library from the very day the building was constructed. While it was much smaller, I would say humble with respect to available information, it was nonetheless just as integral to the institution of Torch as it is today, embracing all those who seek knowledge with their wide open arms. Ooh. Sadly, the great earthquake turned it, as well as the whole West Wing, into rubble back in the 24. Most physical copies and library contained were destroyed, with only a few salvage copies retrieved from the rubble. What a waste, of course. Aiden knew that the library had to be restored to its previous glory, so according to his will, the library was rebuilt with a relatively short period of time. Institute members named the library in his honor, and it remained so until this day. I hope this answers you. This is the answer you sought. Was there anything else you wish to ask me? Torch guide you, Nina. As you too, brother. Read well. There is a lot to read. Library terminal. Welcome to Aiden's library, brother. Today's quote: Torch is like a drop of water resting on a thirsty man's palm. Aiden. Let's go to digital literature first. Mount, Call of Evolution, the Evoker's Heresy, Surface Troopers, Archons of the Genes. Now, these are all references to movies such as Call of Evolution is Call of Cthulhu, the Evoker's Heresies could be something like the Horus Heresy, Surface Troopers could be Starship Troopers, Archons of the Genes is Lord of the Rings. Brave New Zone is Brave New World, so on and so forth. And Foreigner is Alien. That one. I really like that one. So Mound. I don't remember what Mound was standing for. Who controls evolution? Controls the surface. Ooh. Well, probably Call of Evolution. And with evolution, immortality, even death may die. That is definitely a Cthulhu. Not a Cthulhu, a Lovecraftian little quote. The evolution heresy. They evoke a heresy. In the 21st year, there is only treason. 40k, indeed. Surface Trooper. There are no dangerous traits, there are only dangerous progeny. Well, I don't actually know all the associated quotes, but whatever. Yeah, let's see this one. One gene to rule them all, of course. Instead of a ring. Brave New World Zone, I mean, sorry. Discover John and Zone are dead, having cooled himself. The end. Digital literature. Spirit. I think this is Spirited Away. Oh, no. This is Ghost in a Shell, Spirit in the Carapace. Yeah, that was such a cool one. Let's see what they say. Insects perpetuate themselves through diversity, and this includes the ability to sacrifice themselves when necessary. Wise words, wise words. And what about the Foreigner? In deep caverns, no one can hear you scream. Yeah, that was like in deep space, no one can hear you scream. That's such a cool reference. I really love this game. Investigative papers. Super Steel biocompatibility refining technique. So this is a data you can download from here, and you can give it back to Bernard, and he can make Super Steel better. This is one of the many ways. There are like you only need to give him 4 USB sticks, but you can find multiple. I think there's like 6, 7, something like that. So you can download it from here. From what you can see by reading the abstract section, and there is another one in the Institute of Torture. You can find it in some file drawer or something. This paper elaborates on the application of surface steel in the manufacturing of the medicinal nanoparticles. It also features a novel super steel refining technique developed by the Department of Physics for this very purpose. We can download on the memory stick, or we can hack it and download the memory stick. Bam. Hypothetical surface ray simulation through particle acceleration. This paper presents the results of various tests done inside the Institute's particle accelerator, like CERN. These experiments are meant to simulate high-energy radiation which could potentially exist on the surface and its effects on equipment and living tissue. Okay. Application on thermosynthetic microorganisms. This paper describes the few known species of thermosynthetic microorganisms capable of using free energy to drive anabolic reaction. These artificially created organisms are now being genetically engineered to produce various compounds by metabolism, some of which can be used for medical or performance enhancing purposes. So bacteria in a way, the thermosynthetic, but not really. It's a bit more complicated than that. Preparation of regenerative medication. Oh. This paper details some type of medication that can be used to catalyze limited regeneration of cell and tissue as restore normal function. Methods of preparing from both from natural ingredients as well from synthetically are also included. Hacking. Okay, maybe we can learn this. It's actually excellent. So, regenerative mixture. Ooh, this is a quite important one. Wait, so we can't download it anymore. Interesting. So you only use it once. So if you sell it, adios. Important dates. Year 1. Aidan discovers torch. Formation of Institute of Torch. Year 5. Biocorp Armed Forces renamed to Preservation, Education and Science, merge into Investigation. Year 8. Great East Wing Fire. So basically this was a Biocorp facility, or a sort of like a educational facility. Great East Wing Fire. Year 9. Principal Investigator Monsignor Giacomo. This sounds like a historical figure. Institute of Torch First Monsignor dies from a sudden cardiac arrest. Year 21. Principal Investigator Advoc attempts a coup. Monsignor Torres dies protecting Aidan. So somebody tried to overtake the institute. Year 24. The Great Earthquake demolished the institute library as well as the large part of the West Wing main hall. Damage repaired within the same year. Year 39. Principal Investigator Monsignor Athenia becomes Episcopos. Investigation Prosperity period starts. Year 42. A series of major conflicts with the Faceless culminating with the Battle of Nucleus, won by Harmost, Monsignor Martial's Preservation Forces, last major conflict with the Faceless. Year 58. Prosperity period for investigation ends with death of Monsignor Anthenia. Year 67. The great mourning over the loss of the West Wing expedition, which perished due to the unknown causes. Sorry about that. Monsignor Peter dies. Year 69. Investigation. Monsignor Christopher dies from cancer. Year 70. Investigation. Monsignor Minty death. Year 77. Formation of Propagation Division from Education Department of Investigation and several other smaller departments. Year 78. Another one dies of old age. Year 81. Lenora dies day after publishing her 78th paper. 85. Biocorp final dissolution and institute courtyard riots. So probably this was the schism. Year 90. Braddock Institute historian dies. 92. Medication So export of core city started. 96. Success of the investigator Gustav's recombinant project revealed at the annual investigation symposium. First recombinant in action. Year 98, investigator Gustav choked to death. Kind of curious deaths here. Year 99, neutral pacification project reveals the annual investigation symposium. And the original report by Aidan Travers. You should remember this name. Might come in handy later. I was the only one still alive from the expedition, as I found myself before this gigantic metal gate which stood closed and seemingly impenetrable. I began to ponder the most recent events, sure that these moments were to be my last, for the whole expedition was doomed from the start. It has been many years since Hollow Earth was left to rust in the forbidding bowels of deep caverns. BioCorp had only begun to recuperate from the damage it suffered during the split between when technocrats called me into their office. Aha, so he was in the second BioCorp division. Regeneration, whatever. They explained to me that they wished to unearth, pardon the expression, several abandoned but not forgotten projects from the Hollow Earth, and salvage that which can be salvaged from the once impressive research complex. So around 100 years ago, he was asked by the survivors of the previous BioCorp, the technocrats obviously, to send Aidan to recover some of the experiments that were performed down there. So that raises a lot of questions here. We shall see. So he wasn't in the high ranks, but he was working for BioCorp. BioCorp desired this expedition in hopes of at least slowing down its decline, which started years ago and wasn't about to stop. Internal struggles only worsened the situation. Of course, due to the severity of the task, it could not be entrusted to just about anyone. A senior scientist of my qualification and experience was to lead the expedition, since only someone like that could be allowed to lay eyes on some of the most sensitive information BioCorp ever possessed. So he worked for BioCorp. I accepted. I was truly excited to be going into the deep caverns, and despite being familiar with how hostile the environment was, I cared very little for that fact. On the contrary, I viewed it as a new opportunity, a new high point in my career, and entrusted our survival into the hands of Captain Sagan's men without overthinking it. Few of my scientist colleagues were able to follow me on this mission, and once all parties were ready, we made our descent into death. At least for most of us, environment had changed significantly between the Hollow Earth incident and the moment of our arrival. Even more than we expected, environmental hazards, neutral predators in form of horrid and surprisingly alien creatures, as well as other unexplained phenomena, were quick to decimate us. Bullets can stop beasts, but for how long? Hazard suits can save us from toxic fumes and corrosive liquids, but for how long? So this excerpt right here is something that we should take to heart, because this is how we must prepare for the end game. It's quite hardcore. Basically, I see this game again, layered. The first part of the game until you reach or until you finish the junkyard is kind of the tutorial. After that, we freely roamed wherever we wished, did whatever we liked. It's kind of the open part until these institute missions will end. We're still pretty much free to do whatever we wish, side quests and blah blah blah. But when this ends and we move into the last area of the game, the third part, it's gonna feel like an entirely different game. And we won't be able to return. That's an important thing to know. So we have to make preparations very thoughtfully ahead, because until everything is done in the deep caverns, and deep caverns are, if you think that the game was unfair until now, the deep caverns are 100 times more unfair. But again, learning how to master the game is, well, an art, because in your first playthrough you're gonna struggle a lot. And even if you watch what I'm playing right now, you might still do mistakes or forget about things, because this game has so many elements laid around, and you have to keep in mind everything. You have to kind of plan ahead and so on. Don't just do everything blindly. You can do everything blindly, but you won't be as efficient. Or you might find yourself in situations that it's gonna become much more challenging than they have to, just because you didn't have the right equipment with you and stuff like that. So yeah, it takes a little bit of playing around. It's okay to mess it up the first time, but when you restart and play it again, maybe on the second run or even the third run, you're gonna get better and better, and the wiki will become your friend. Usually, since I have two monitors, I on one monitor I focus on the game. On the second, I constantly read the wiki to be prepared for various scenarios, and even those scenarios can differ from time to time and have diverging things. Some can be very random, or some can have alternatives, and it's not as easy to be prepared for all situations, but not as difficult either once you understand how the game functions. Anyway, that was a tiny parallel to what we are doing here. Let's go back. Reaching the main complex soon proved to be Mission Impossible. Hahaha, Mission Impossible reference. The immediate way to the east was blocked by an impenetrable cave-in, so we had to circumvent it by going to the north. After taking the first few steps towards our goal, we already found ourselves under a siege of death itself, and it sated its hunger quickly, luckily before it got to me. I wonder what he means by that. I was the only one still alive from the expedition. We fled north and found refuge by one of the large gates. So this is kind of a description of the map. And we should keep this in mind, because all of these orientations can help us go around the map as well and circumvent certain bad situations. This is what I call good writing, because the game gives you the information that it helps you along the way, but you have to really read it and understand it. Otherwise, you're just gonna blindly go from one wall to another, find a lot of blockages, and get frustrated and don't understand what's happening and how to fix it. But all you had to do is actually just dive in within the lore a little bit, or in the information that is presented through the consoles or whatever. Rust, mold, demise were in the oxygen devoid air, as well as some strange pulsating sensation which violently pressed on my skull. That's something important to keep in mind. Poor Captain, the only one still with me, was lying on the corner and was slowly fading away, with last bits of life leaving his mangled body, surrendering it to the decay. He performed his duty to its very last breath. I was ready for the same fate. But then the large gates opened. Light illuminated the area, and the strange pain from my head was instantly gone. While the lights weren't as bright as the ones in the university, it was much brighter than the dwindling glow of my last flare. I stepped through the gates and faced something I wasn't prepared for. I faced it. It was giant. It was alien. It was formless. The strange creature was before me, and I had no clue of its origin or intentions, or really anything. All I could see is pure flesh with tentacles surrounding from it all their glory. The sensation in my head returned, but this time it wasn't trying to kick down the door in my mind. Instead, it was gently knocking and I answered politely. Torch was the only thing I could interpret during the peculiar exchange of thoughts. For everything else can simply be described as just some strange feeling in my head. During my 3 week stay, I was allowed by Torch to study it leftover equipment I was able to find in these old labs. I combined with some of my own utilities and was able to set up and improvise laboratory, which was most excellent. Regarding nourishment, I still had my own personal supplies up to a point in time. Afterwards, I had to rely on natural resources. This is what I had learned during my stay before I finally left Torch and returned back, certain that what I have found was an extraordinary discovery of unimaginable importance. Torch can be defined as a large multicellular organism of unknown age, but judging from its genetic makeup, it is primordial. While it shares a lot of common sequences with every living being, uh, ranging from the first single cell organism up to the modern mammals, it is not directly related to us in any way. We do not have a clear common ancestor. How is that possible? Well, that is what I am about to explain. The creature can enter a unique state of a regeneration cycle, in which it loses any recognition form and undergoes genetic self repair. It puzzled me how and why it does so, but I had answers faster than I had thought. I would Torch than I thought I would. Torch has a remarkable similar cell and DNA structures to us. The number of chromosomes and genes is indeed different, but a lot of recognizable sequences can be found there. The part of its genome that has non-coding was larger than in humans, and by studying it, I have learned the answers to those to those questions I asked myself previously. Whenever the creature begins suffering from any form of mutation, chromosomal deterioration, or even cancer, it can enter the aforementioned state of regeneration. It might not do so in case when the environment might do so. Changes drastically, and new traits are necessary to survive. I was even able to pinpoint the genes responsible for this now. What happens when the creature begins regenerating it is this. Its non-coding part of genome, which can be in Torch case considered something of a genetic backup, begins coding for proteins which in turn change and rebuild the whole chromosome, even up to the telomeres. That's a very small unit, I suppose. smaller than nanometers, clearly, or micro. So, in a way, if we think about it, we are kind of like Torch because we are adapting to our situation and we are applying traits that are necessary for us to follow a path in which to achieve our best results. So perhaps Torch follows a similar thing, but well, clearly this is at an anatomical level and genetical one, of course. But we're not too uncommon from Torch's evolution in a way, except he is on steroids. How it knows what sort of adaptation it needs to survive in the new environment is not yet clear, nor how it is able to recombine or even create these new sequences. But even this was a magnificent find and raised another question: can this be applied to humans or other living creatures as well? So it's a quite noble question because, as we have seen so far, there isn't just one apocalyptic event that happened to humanity that brought us underneath the bowels of the earth. It has been a lot of events. First, it was the events on the surface, which we do not know much about. We got some clues in the expeditions, which I suspect it's entropy from a four-dimensional space. But again, it could be many things. But it's the closest one I can stand by. Then you have the descent, and then you have the events that happen with the Hollow Earth, where something bad has happened, and then Biocorp has fallen, and the first Biocorp, the original one. Then a new Biocorp arose after some time. That one reigned for 100 years, and then it fell around 15 to 20 years ago, and then we have the new reformed Biocorp, which is the Cortec now. So a lot of events have gone through, so humanity might have even forgotten why they are here in the first place. To them, this is home now. But Aidan looks at it and thinks, well, we can change our human structure, our human DNA, our human adaptation and evolution according to Torch. And, well, to Torch's evolution, I mean. And maybe applying what Torch is doing to our own DNA and genetic engineering, through genetic engineering. And then perhaps going to the surface and trying to embrace a new world. But what we would become, that is an entirely different question. We would clearly not look human. That much is known so far. Due to the similarities of the DNA structures, the answer might as well be yes. And with that, many other questions sprang to my mind. Could we too use what we learned from the torch and adapt ourselves at will? Could we live infinitely? Would we be able to control our own evolution and arrive towards a goal unimaginable before? Could we finally return to the surface world? This infinite thing is, I would say, not possible. Sure, they had the technology to prolong life, but even if you prolong it, how much of you is you after all? Because as we know, like every 7 years, our genetic we fully replace all of our cells in our body, 7 to 8 years or something like that. So imagine prolonging your life and then some of the function in your body slowly start to get defected because of old age, and you start replacing or starting integrating various technology or various engineering to yourself to the point where you're not much human left. But the point is that complications arise, and death is inevitable. You can't survive indefinitely. Perhaps you can mutate indefinitely, but by that time, that doesn't mean you retain your mentality or anything that was original about yourself, and it's just something totally different than the original host. But that is an entirely different topic. Anyway, continue. I wanted answers, and for that, I was going to need time and support. And I had given Torch the final look before I left, hoping that I wasn't going to be really the last one. It became clear in my mind that what I must do. My return to the university as a long survivor out to be quite interesting, and can be best be described as the end of one thing and the beginning of another. End of the original report. So basically, he has changed his goals and realized that, oh, I can take all of this power now, since Biocorp has started to crumble, and he has been given new opportunities since he has consolidated his power, it seems. Quite interesting. Um, there is so much more to do. Just a bit tired, and I don't think I can do it. But let's. Actually, we could ask her some information. Certain files require curator or propagator rights so that they can be transferred to a memory stick. Any way for me to obtain such rights? Only curators can have curator rights, and only nobility and certain members of the propagation can have the privilege of having a propagator card entrusted to them. Why propagation? Most members don't need to download files. They can read everything here in the library. It minimizes the risk of valuable information falling into undesirable hands as well. But the propagators, they are the ones who propagate torchism to the whole world. They require physical media to do so. Is there any way for me to gain this privilege, sister? I'm afraid not, brother. It takes a long time even for members of propagation to obtain these propagator cards. How can I just hand one over to you? Persuade. If I could be trusted with the reaching man, which allows me to become a torches despite the institute not accepting new members, then how can I not trust it to be to download a few investigative papers to study in private? I already covered that, but whatever, let's ask them. The reaching man is, well, you truly are well evolved novitiate. Don't misunderstand me, please. But the propagator rights are a completely different matter. She stops. The library is too silent to make the wait comfortable. I'll grant you propagation rights after giving it a thought. I'd rather not retard your progress. To be discreet, please. She hands you a library propagator card. Ooh. And doesn't share copies. And don't share copies with anyone outside the institute unless instructed otherwise. Well. Can you tell me? Okay, what exactly is the original report? The original report was written 100 years ago by Aidan, first discovered torch in the darkest depths of the deep caverns. This short text describes to the event itself. Aidan originally discovered discoveries and thoughts. Essentially, it narrates the genesis of torchism. If you haven't read it still, brother, do so as soon as possible. I am beginning completely honest here. have read it, have read an uncountable amount of times, and I am most certainly not the only one to have done so. Yeah, I'm definitely tired. I can't read anymore. Torch guide you, Nina. YouTube, brother. Read well. So we got a lot of information here. Quite useful, but we shall see what we can do with it. Maybe we'll go to the cantina now. And oh no, this is not the cantina. We're not allowed here yet. Maybe there is a way out there, but whatever. I'm not gonna push my luck. So the way we have to go is around here. And this is the cantina. I think there is another way to open the door and go through there. Everybody's happy here, eating. We can talk to Theodore eventually, but not now. And I think to the right, going down, yeah, this is the place of recreation. And in one of these rooms, we'll talk to him, but my brain doesn't work right now. Well, not from this room, it's maybe a little bit further actually. I love the music here, it's just fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah. This is lazy lol. Literally, this is our food locker, but I'm not gonna interact with anything. I'm gonna save here, and tomorrow. In the next episode, we are going to continue having fun with this institute. Actually, we don't have to do a lot because pretty much we have covered everything, but there is one particular mission that will take us on a path that we cannot reach by ourselves. So we shall see about that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay awesome and see you in the next episode. Bye 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 bye.